Arizona, one of Brown's earliest supporters. A good question now is what happens next. Senator-elect Scott Brown's victory is, by all standards, a game changer for Democrats. There is a grim sense among the Democrats that if the GOP could win in a traditionally liberal state like Massachusetts, Republicans could likely win anywhere. Joining me right now is Richard Socarides, the former advisor to President Bill Clinton and Democratic strategist, and Sherry Jacobus, a Republican strategist. Richard, Brown's win shifts the political landscape on Capitol Hill. So you've witnessed this before. Tell us what you can is up next for President Obama right now, Richard.
Well, the first thing they have to do is figure out how to get a health care reform bill passed and try to get some bipartisanship around it. It's going to be difficult because, the Republican strategy up till now has been to say no to everything. But they will try. They'll try to see what they can do with Olympia Snowe, with Susan Collins, with some of the other more moderate members of the Republican caucus. Health care is going to be the first thing they're going to do. But right now, today, they're trying to take a little bit of a pause. They're trying to say, like, what happened here? What can we learn from it? I think that the Democrats are going to try to take on the banks. You saw that with the president's announcement a little bit more.
Richard, let me hit you, though, on the health care topic, though. We spoke earlier to the majority whip, James Clyburn of South Carolina, who said, we could pursue these changes in reconciliation. That's a parliamentary maneuver that would seem like it's too restrictive to make the major changes the House Democrats want. Is that a real option?
Well, I think whether or not it's too restrictive, I think that it really is not responsive to the message the voters have sent. It's a little too cute by half because this is not the voters sent a message that they want to do something a little differently, and this is not trying to using a procedural trick to try to get it done is not the way to go. So,
Sherry Jacobus, let me invite you into this conversation as our Republican strategist. Give us a sense. What is the message here, and what is Republicans' first move as they move forward on health care reform? Is it all no, or are they willing to work with Democrats?
Well, look, at this point, we haven't seen Republicans being allowed to have a voice in any of the negotiations for months, and that's part of the problem. That's one reason I think why Scott Brown won in Massachusetts. I think that you're seeing Republican successes and conservative successes all around the country. When members of Congress, Democrats, went back home during Christmas, they heard the same outcry from citizens that they heard in August at the town hall meetings. So people are paying attention. They don't like the lack of transparency in these negotiations. I think what's going to happen is the Democratic caucus is falling apart on this, and I think they're going to have to really look seriously at who their leaders are in the House and Senate. They're going to have to throw Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid under the bus on this one, save themselves, and I think what they can say is, yes, I support parts of the bill, I support all of the bill, I don't like the process, I want transparency, and that way they can seem at least to be standing on principle without being hypocrites in terms of their positions. Not my job to advise them, but that is their get-out-of-jail-free card, quite frankly.
Then, Sherry, right now the Democrats obviously fretting that every state is now in play. 19 Democrats facing re-election coming up later this year in 2010. Among them, Barbara Boxer in California, who's facing the former CEO of Hewlett-Packard, Carly Fiorina. Where do you think are the biggest concerns? What Democrats do you think are most at risk right now, given what just happened in Massachusetts?
Well, look, I think anything can happen anywhere, and that was the message of Tuesday's vote in Massachusetts. It's kind of hard to say at this point who's the most vulnerable because you see how much things can change in 1 year. 1 year ago yesterday, Barack Obama was sworn in as president with a huge wave of popularity. Things are very different for the Democrats right now, so anything can happen over the next 10 or so months. I would think making a prediction right now would be a little bit silly, but I think any Democrat can be vulnerable right now. I think this is a huge recruitment time for Republicans, so it's hard to make a prediction, but I think the arrows are pointing in the right direction for Republicans at this point in time.
Well, this is the place for politics. I'm sure the predictions will certainly start happening in the next several months as we head toward the fall elections. Sherry Jacobus and Richard Socarides, thanks to both of you for your time.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
North Carolina's Governor Mark Sanford says he is done apologizing for his extra